Bitcoin is nearing target number 3 off of one of the major meta signal setups that fired off about a week and a half ago now, or sorry, actually back around the beginning of July. And in this case, it is very, very close now to a target that I quite literally did not think was going to be happening, or at least in this time frame, which is just under 72,000 bucks. Obviously, target number 1 and target number 2 have been met. So in today's video, we're going to be extrapolating upon that case in the more short term and medium term, definitely following up on the HPDR analysis that we were looking at over the past few days as well, and kind of fitting that into the overall picture that we have been looking at on this channel, and continue to follow up on the just general trajectory of Bitcoin here as it does approach 70,000 bucks yet again. So first things first, let's go over to the HPDR analysis. We can see right here on the weekly time frame for the HPDR that Bitcoin is using, or not necessarily using, but is being magnetized towards the median, which is this sort of squiggly line right here that my cursor is currently tracing, that we did say was likely coming into the last couple of weeks off of the volatility compression, which continues to compress right here. So very, very likely we do see a test of this median probably this week, maybe next week. In this case, it is officially at 71,600, which is very much in alignment with that target number 3 from the meta signal setup based off of the 8-hour setup, which is about 71,950. So, I mean, yes, they are very, very similar to each other. It is $300 difference off, but remember that this setup fired off when Bitcoin was trading at like 57,100. So this was quite some time ago. So to see these things start to line up, naturally, that is good confluence. Now, of course, that does imply that any sort of a break above, and when I say break, I mean a closure on a weekly basis above the median here, will very likely catalyze the next real breakout for Bitcoin. And when I say real breakout, I mean like a breakout that has been taking the last 4 months of consolidation around this $60,000 to $70,000 region. So until that officially happens, I don't think it's time to be getting like super, super excited in terms of like immediate volatile, massive breakout. But of course, it is, well, it's right there. It's right there. It's right there. Until then, until that is actually closed above, there is still a possibility that Bitcoin could come back down for perhaps one more try for a higher low. In this case, I would say anywhere around 62,500, the bottom end of the 38.2 level right here would be fair game. But for right now, obviously a test towards a medium is most likely in these next week or two worth of price action. And technically speaking, just based off of the way that the HPDRO is positioned right here, which is about to cross over into positive territory, that does certainly favor an actual break above that region, thus suggesting that, a continuation in August is more likely than a pullback. But of course, until that actually officially happens, nothing is confirmed. It's just, becoming more and more likely here. Moving on from there, of course, I do want to follow up on the Monday strategy. Monday has been the most likely day to close positively from open to closure for Bitcoin. Also, one of the highest positive return days as well, with over 3.5% on those positive closing days. Of course, contrast that with the negative days, which is losing an average of 2%, but sorry, a lot of caffeine coming up. But Monday having a 66.67% probability close positively since this year began, looking like it will be validated yet again here. Let's see from the current open what about 3.5% would look like, and that would actually put Bitcoin on new highs on the day, closer towards 70,700 if it goes exactly for that average. Of course, there's variance within that average, but ultimately it wouldn't, we would look at that as, again, if Bitcoin closed positively, as, somewhere around there is actually rather likely. Of course, to the downside, we do have, a nice range in company this. While I do think it's a little bit less likely, that would put Bitcoin down around yesterday's low, about 67,000 bucks. Now, of course, we did put this into an actual setup format where we literally just created a setup here using the Krown Quant automation service, this guy right here, to back test what it would look like if you literally just opened a long on Monday at 00 UTC and then closed it Tuesday at 10 a.m. UTC. And we found that over the past 8 years of history here now, this has been a winning strategy. Is it winning every time? No, obviously not. It's actually just above a 51% probability to have a winning trade doing that strategy. But what's more important about this is the profit factor. And out of 447 total closed trades, well, it has returned a nice positive amount in the performance summary right here, an average winning trade of about 3.5%. So that is very much in alignment with the stats that we see from this pane over here. So, I do think that this Monday is probably going to be closing positively. And so, expecting somewhere around, 70,500 to 71,000 bucks is not out of the question. It's within the realm of likely possibilities, actually. Of course, on the other end, it gives us some interesting information as well. If it were to close negatively, we do have the average losing trade, which is about 3%. So of course, on the other end, we would have a sort of objective way of looking at what the likely downside is for today. But, with the way that Monday has kind of opened up, it's looking like upside is definitely more likely for today. Anyways, moving on from there, I do want to get into, of course, a little Twitter post that I made earlier for the pattern enjoyers of this world, of which I don't really consider myself of that variety. But, to be fair, there is a descending broadening wedge right in here. And this is marked off by, of course, the same highs essentially, followed by these descending lows right here on declining volume. And when we see something like that, yeah, that is technically a pattern. It wouldn't necessarily be confirmed until you actually break out above the highs of June, which is about 72,000 bucks on a closing basis. And then technically speaking, there is an implied target actually all the way up to 90,000 bucks. I do believe that might even correlate. Yes, that might even correlate very well with the weekly over here. Now, if Bitcoin does confirm the weekly close above the median HPDR, the top side of the HPDR on the weekly is going to likely be a target, which is 86,000 bucks as of right now. That can obviously move up as well. And also, this potentially could be the first week that we even see Bitcoin close above the median, which has not happened basically since April. So we do expect that, if and when Bitcoin does actually want to threaten a real bullish breakout, that Bitcoin will continue above the median. So that'd be like the next sort of major boss, if you will. Until then, there is still a possibility of a pullback. Could very easily look something like this, I guess, where it spikes up into here, comes back down, sets in a higher low, something like that, and then tries again. Definitely possible. I suppose that we'll likely have clarity on the situation maybe this week, probably by next week, if there is going to be a breakout. We probably do expect it to happen sooner rather than later. I'd say within these next couple weeks, sooner, obviously better than later. But yes, on top of that, I believe that the 5-day jewel continues with its upside momentum here as well. So another green light alongside 5-day RSI, which is reaching for the bullish control zone. It's not quite there just yet. I think the weekly is the same thing. Yeah, it's reclaiming the moving average on this one, and the weekly jewel actually hasn't even turned, cyan yet, which is that sort of upside posture, but it's very fucking close there, which I imagine would very likely follow through on a breakout, thus confirming, a real resolution of this range. Again, a range that has been in place for almost 5 months, actually. Let me just count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, working on month number 5, and this month is very close to being a bullish engulfing at this point. Very, very close. I mean, it will be confirmed as a bullish engulfing if it does close above about 72,000 bucks. So got a little bit of work to do with a couple days left. But, even just closing like this is obviously going to be good. Anything above that red moving average is going to be long-term good, as that is how all of our long-term upside markets typically continue upwards and onwards. And, well, I mean, I don't think there needs to be much more said other than that. I suppose we can get over here to the weekly momentum. We can see that weekly stochastic momentum is going to officially continue to the upside as well, assuming Bitcoin closes this week above 59,000 bucks. So far, so good. The 5-day just closed last night as well for spot price action. It's actually about to reclaim the moving average here, and will continue up as long as Bitcoin's above 57,110. So looking good for a try to the top side of this formation. Obviously, anytime that you are around the top side, there's a real threat of a breakout. And if BBWP is anything to be going off of right here, it actually does look like it might just follow through. It might just follow through here, actually. So I would say sooner rather than later, if this one is going to play out, actually, when I look at the 5-day, yeah, we would expect within the next 10 days of price action, probably within the next 5 days, actually, from today. So between now and Friday would be a higher probability. And then you could kind of extend that another 5 days, I suppose, if it doesn't break out and if it's still kind of hanging around here, lingering around this $70,000 region. But yeah, it's going to be some big closures coming up. We got the monthly as well. And monthly momentum is about to turn up again as long as Bitcoin's above 68,600. So, most, if not everything, does point towards more upside. Of course, you can always find, some reasons where that's perhaps not as likely. But to me, it's a question of, does Bitcoin break out from here, or does it correct maybe once again, try for a higher low in early August, and then try for the breakout in maybe late August? That's the real question that I'm kind of considering. But ultimately, the market very likely to continue here, and Bitcoin looking good. Bitcoin looking good with just 2.5 days left to go in this trading month. So knock on wood, but anything here or higher is going to look very, 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 very like the breakout in August. So I'll end the video on that note. As always, I want to wish everyone the best of the best. I do want to let you know, actually, once again, that there are just a couple days left to sign up for the second cohort of the crypto school here. It starts, the next live stream is on Thursday in 3 days. And then after that, I believe there is no more signups for this cohort, and we do not have a third cohort planned as of right now. So if you're interested, check it out. It is in the link in the description below. It's also free to join with an exchange account. No credit card required, as the statement here suggests. And well, I'll leave you on that note. As always, I want to wish you the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully next time.